In this video, I will be exploring Barthes' idea of punctum and studium by relating personally to the photograph shown here by Loretta Lux, the drummer. This photograph has always been very striking to me. However, it is not striking for the obvious reasons. I experience punctum when I look at this photo because of the little child's shirt. The texture on the shirt speaks to me in a way that is almost impossible for me to explain. I get lost in the texture and I hardly notice the rest of the photo at all. For me, the punctum is the texture. However, I do not expect most people to feel this way about the photo. Nor do I hardly expect them to have an emotional attachment or a punctum. I expect people to be drawn to this child's piercing blue eyes, the fact that this child appears to almost not be real or to be a statue, and the overall haunting effect of the photo. In order to prove that these parts of the photo are the studium, and that my noticing the pattern of the shirt was my personal punctum, I wanted to ask people what they thought. Okay, so what do you notice in this picture?
The boy's glaring blue eyes. Very creepy looking. Like brownish red, and the blue help have like a little bit of a complementariness to him. And it looks staged.
This picture,
Can I see someone?
a little bit scared. Yeah, and it kind of looks like a doll almost because the skin is like so pale and
one of the labs?
everything's like perfect. Curls are like perfect, kind of creepy and just a weird vibe from it all.
Well, what strikes me about this is how perfect the child is. It just seems like perfect skin tone and almost like a mechanical robot child. So there's something about it that really doesn't seem real. It seems idealized. And the piercing blue eyes really get my attention as well. Just like staring straight ahead.
I guess the first thing I noticed about this picture is his arm movement, where he's playing the drums. I guess I noticed that, and his curly hair, and his like bright blue eyes, because they stand out, because the rest of the picture is nothing but neutral color.
About this picture is his eyes, because they're like huge and blue. And then I noticed that he doesn't really look real. He looks like he's very staged. His drum doesn't even look real. I have no idea. It's like the only thing that's not really white or really pale. He like blends in with the white, so it's like not even a person. Jumps in around, and his head is like balding. Too big for his body.
After talking to people about the photo, I learned that my hypothesis was correct. While nobody noticed the texture on the little boy's shirt, they did notice the things that I had previously mentioned that I thought they would. People mostly noticed the fact that the child did not look real and the fact that the photo was slightly creepy. People also noticed that the child seemed very staged and that his hair seemed very perfect. All of these things were visual objects that one would most likely notice when evaluating a photo visually. The texture of the shirt was a small detail that no one else picked up on. This makes sense when relating my feelings about punctum to Barthes' idea of punctum. Punctum is a detail that strikes usually only one person, while studium is a visual aspect that usually many people notice and pick up on. In conclusion, I would say that Barthes' idea of punctum versus studium was correct. Because all the people I interviewed about this photo mentioned the boy's eyes, most people also mentioned how staged the photo looked, as well as how creepy the photo was. This makes sense because studium, according to Barthes, is usually an aspect of a photo that most everyone will pick up on. Punctum is personal and something that's very hard to explain. I cannot really explain why I'm drawn to the texture of the shirt. I just feel it. If other people had noticed the texture of the shirt, then perhaps what I see would not have been punctum after all. But since no one else mentioned the texture, and considering how strongly I feel about it, I would conclude that this photo does in fact give me punctum, while most other people just experience studium when looking at it.